Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. Thanks for joining us. As the country gradually and cautiously merges forward and deals with the ravages of COVID-19 and with the natural resources of the Bahamas, our geography and climate, it is reasonable to expect that the business of tourism in its various forms and presentations will continue to dominate the economic landscape of the country for the foreseeable future. That, according to Prime Minister Philip Davis, as he addressed the Cat Island Business Outlook 2022, the Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador Member of Parliament telling stakeholders and delegates that the diversification of the tourism product, including heritage, historical, and cultural tourism, is an attractive and sustainable product offering, linking tourism to the orange economy. He touted the rich history of Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador.
Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador have rich histories and heritages that have been greatly impacted, influenced, and shaped by the habitation of the Lucayan Indians, the landfall of Christopher Columbus, slavery, the occupation of the American loyalists, the commercial exploits of piracy, and the strategic roles these islands played during the Prohibition era. These intriguing tales and archaeological relics can be restored, attractively packaged, and dramatically reenacted to the delight of our visitors. The pristine beaches, the rolling hills, and the deep turquoise waters with a wealth of marine resources provide great entrepreneurial opportunities in both the green and blue economies. Various water sports, including sports fishing and commercial fishing, come immediately to mind.
The Cat Island Business Outlook gives way to an oasis of ideas, one of which is the enhancement of entrepreneurship and influence investment strategies.
The huge contrast of these pristine islands to the major cities of the world provides extremely attractive second home market investment opportunities for the wealthy. Adding second homes to our country's hotel room inventory also provides attractive tax concessions to second home buyers under the Hotel Encouragement and Family Island Development Acts. The maintenance of current and the construction of new public infrastructure and superstructures represent critical support services and investment opportunities through public-private sector partnerships to buttress economic growth and development.
Visitation at the Princess Margaret Hospital has been limited again as health officials see a spike in COVID-19 cases. The Public Hospital Authority is advising effective Wednesday patients' visitation is limited to 2 people for a duration of 15 minutes, no longer than 15 minutes at bedside because of the Ministry of Health and Wellness reporting increased numbers in the COVID-19 positive cases. The Princess Margaret Hospital's administration has made the decision to alter visitation policies. All visitors will be processed via the critical care block entrance and are required to adhere to all of the COVID-19 prevention protocols. The Public Hospital Authority and the Princess Margaret Hospital are asking visitors to be patient as they continue to prioritize patient and staff safety. The public is encouraged to follow all advisories and updates from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Public Hospitals Authority for further information regarding hospital services. Family, friends, and co-workers gathered for a candlelight memorial service honoring 16 members of the nursing and support staff who passed away between May 2020 and May 2022 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Public Hospitals Authority acting managing director, that's Ordinette Roll, gave remarks.
Many of these persons who we are speaking about this morning are loved by everyone here and those who were not able to leave their work areas to come and pay this tribute this morning. We know it's not a nice time, but we wanted you to recognize that we recognize your sacrifice. We appreciate all of the service that all of our staff give. We cannot run away from the fact that the nurse does spend the majority of their time in direct patient care. They interact with the patients every day on a daily basis. It is fitting that we now pause and welcome you here so that you can have a taste of the feelings that we have for the contributions of your loved ones to us here as caregivers, to us here as fellow employees, and surely I can tell you some as very close friends, that we must honor them. We must take the time to honor them.
The memorial service organized by the Princess Margaret Hospital Nurses Month Committee had musical tributes throughout the service, which were followed by words of commemoration from co-workers who were close to the deceased. Among the departed honored were former Nurses Union Secretary General Julian Mullings and 20-year veteran Nurse Jcn Johnson, who were some of the first casualties in the fight against COVID-19.
For our fallen nurses, those recognized today, and to all of our fallen nurses across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the dash in your life and in their lives is one that speaks to a life well lived, one that speaks to great community and public service, one that speaks to dedication in their service delivery, one that speaks to purpose, one that speaks to commitment, one that spoke to compassion and that of care. Today, we honor the dash.
Plaques and flowers were presented to each of the representing family members of the deceased before lighting of memorial candles for their loved ones. Earlier in the week, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, attended a memorial for 3 American visitors to Exuma, married couple Michael and Robbie Phillips, Vincent Chirella, who died while staying at Sandals. It was also a service for the recovery of Mrs. Donna Chirella. The service of prayer, led by the Exuma Christian Council, was held at the Ebenezer Union Baptist Church at Farmers Hill on Monday. Deputy Prime Minister Cooper said the country mourns the loss of the deceased and prayed for the recovery of the survivor. He said the Phillips family from Tennessee, they were no strangers to Exuma, as they visited many times and they often brought friends with them. He noted that the Chirella family from Alabama also loved Exuma and decided to spend their anniversary on the island when the unthinkable occurred. The Deputy Prime Minister said that he was honored to bring remarks on behalf of the Prime Minister and the people of the Bahamas. Opposition leader Michael Pintard slamming the Davis administration, particularly Prime Minister Philip Davis, his comments on the National Food Distribution Program in response to the Prime Minister's comments when he tabled the National Food Distribution Program audit report in the Parliament on Monday. Mr. Pintard suggested on Wednesday during the House proceedings that the Davis administration is strategic about the information being shared with the public, but not limited to the National Food Distribution Program, as the Prime Minister questions the integrity of non-governmental organizations' handling of funds.
It is most unfortunate that the government has chosen to drip feed the public with salacious details surrounding a wide range of issues, inclusive of the Food Task Force. It is always a painful experience to listen to private organizations that have historically made contributions in the Bahamas and private individuals' reputation taking a beating.
On Monday, Prime Minister Davis said a combined total of over $10 million was sent to the 2 NGOs working under the task force, while noting that the government has no record of how the money was spent and could not get the information it required from the NGOs despite multiple requests. Now, while Mr. Pintard notes his party supports holding former governments and private organizations who may have misappropriated funds accountable, he concluded that it can be done without savaging the reputation of individuals who are not a part of Parliament. To defend themselves, he further suggests Prime Minister Davis made premature conclusions with regards to the appropriations of taxpayers' funds without any evidence to support his claims, and this he cannot support.
The reality is, if any citizen, public servant, NGO, or anyone associated with them engage in mis- or malfeasance, anything illegal or unethical, any government is duty-bound to clearly investigate and to take the relevant action required to hold them into account. Under my leadership, we support that. What we do not support is the presentation of incomplete information, leading the discussion with a conclusion that we have not yet arrived at. And that is essentially what the member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador did. Gave the conclusion, not merely just innuendos, but made concrete statements about persons who sought to use the public purse to enrich themselves without putting on the public record the evidence thereof.
To that, Prime Minister Philip Davis fired back at the opposition leader with this.
Whatever what I've said, I noticed the member said I'm sparing MGOs, I'm sparing the F&M. You know, again, that's a view that he has deduced, perhaps, from what I would have said. But maybe if he would have read the audit report that was laid, then he could see whether what I would have said detracts from anything that what was put in the report. I'm saying that there's been nothing, there have not been cooperation. And at the end of the day, I don't have the power to compel anyone to cooperate with me. But yes, there are mechanisms through which people are compelled to cooperate.
Prime Minister Davis adds that the government is considering steps to compel NGOs that participated in the former Food Administration Program or the distribution program to turn over missing financial information. Meanwhile, at the F&M's conclave on the weekend, Mr. Pintard commented on the confirmation that the government is conducting an investigation into the Water and Sewage Corporation with sitting Member of Parliament and former Executive Chairman of the corporation, Adrian Gibson, at the center of the investigation. Mr. Gibson has also had some of his property seized by the police. On Wednesday, Commissioner of Police Paul Roll confirmed two members of the media that police have reached out to Mr. Gibson's attorney in regard to the investigation to find out when Mr. Gibson will return to the Bahamas, as they want to speak with him. Mr. Gibson's attorney, Ramona Fackerson Seymour, said Mr. Gibson will cooperate with any investigation launched. However, the attorney expressed frustration in the way the investigation is being carried out. We'll take a break here, and we'll be back after these commercials.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Silhouette Boutique Collection.